and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn here on RVNtv in beautiful Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I am your host, and with me today is my guest, Alisha Ramcharitar, and she is the founder of Just Add Rhythm. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Dr. Jacalyn. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to talk all things drumming with you.
I am so excited too because you are a chief drumming architect and I've never met one before, so this is really fantastic. I'd love to understand what a chief drumming architect is and does.
Absolutely. Do you want me to dive into it, or do you have any specific questions about that title?
Well, I think the title is just very interesting. I've never heard of that title before. Is that something that you came up with yourself, or are you modeling yourself after someone or others who have had the same title?
I came up with the title on my own because I wanted something that showed kind of what I did from a non-traditional standpoint, since this is sort of a non-traditional business model, something that a lot of people haven't really heard of before. So I chose the word architect because I wanted to show that there are different layers of building a drum circle, and we use metaphors to kind of create that bridge from the drum circle to whatever organization or client we're working with. So we start with the foundation, and then we have different layers that we build upon that. Things like trust and authenticity and communication and all those wonderful things that you want to have in a great organization. So I thought the word architect sort of embodied that idea of building those layers.
Yes, absolutely, and it's certainly a title that one will remember. And just like I remember you and I met through an organization called Lunch Club, and you have such a unique background. So I'd love for you to share that with us, and then we'll get into Just Add Rhythm, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I often get asked how I started drumming and started this business of drumming with other people. So my story kind of starts back when I was a child. I always loved singing, and I took vocal lessons all through high school. I sang in choirs. I went to Berklee College of Music to continue studying vocals, actually. And while I was there, I discovered drumming. I took an African drum class because I thought it would help improve my rhythm as a musician, as a singer. And I got really interested in the African drumming class. The professor was really great, and I ended up going to Ghana, West Africa, on a student trip with the professor and a bunch of students the year after I took that class. And I learned about a field called ethnomusicology, and that's kind of, I tell people that's sort of like the anthropology of world music cultures. So you study a people and their culture and their history through their music, through the music traditions that they have. And West African music was something that just really, I really connected with it. I really connected with the people that I got to meet as I was traveling in Ghana. I traveled in Senegal, West Africa, 2 different times while I was writing my master's thesis. And the experience of drumming and dancing felt really cathartic to me. And so I wanted to study what the health benefits of it were, as well as, how it fit in with the culture of the people that I was working with. So when I got back to the US, I said, what can I do with all this really cool information? We don't really have a music tradition in the United States, in the Western Hemisphere, like a lot of people in Africa do, that they grow up learning how to do it, and it's ingrained in their culture just from birth all the way through, the rest of their lives. So I learned about this field of drum circle facilitation, which is people that get trained to facilitate drumming experiences with groups of people for the benefit and enjoyment of everybody that's there. And that's a wide variety of populations, from school children to senior citizens to corporate boardrooms to nonprofit organizations. Lots of research on the benefits of drumming together as a group, physically, mentally, socially, and emotionally. So I came back here and I said, I want to start this business because I want to be able to introduce these benefits into the community where I live and work. that's my story.
Wow, that is really tremendous. Congratulations on everything that you've accomplished, and such a unique background, and then traveling abroad and getting another perspective and then being able to bring it back here to the States. So with Just Add Rhythm, it seems to me that you are taking team building to another level. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, absolutely. What I like about drumming is that it's really accessible to almost anybody. And so when we talk about team building, particularly at things like a corporate level, there are a lot of things that people can do for team building in a corporate setting. And I think drumming is one of the best because it involves those aspects that I mentioned earlier. There's a physical aspect to it. You're actually sitting and playing a drum. There's the mental aspect of it. There's a lot of research that shows that drumming can improve your focus and your concentration, your memory. You can perform better, so you can get things done. You can, be more effective and efficient at your job. And then there's the social emotional aspect of it, where people can actually make meaningful connections with each other in this group drumming experience that will hopefully amplify outside of the drum circle when they have to go back to work and work with their teams, their coworkers, their customers, their clients, their supervisors. Making those connections in the drum circle really just helps them work together in the organization later on. So when we plan an in-person team building program, we bring drums for however many people are participating, and everybody's drumming all at the same time. So we kind of introduce a few simple tools and techniques on how to play the drum safely and effectively. We start from the beginning and give people an opportunity to learn how to make sounds without necessarily making rhythms, because they tend to get a little bit nervous about their music making abilities at first, and they're maybe a little bit skeptical about how well this is going to work. And then we kind of take them through a series of activities designed to bring them from an individual into a group mindset. And at that point, we introduce the drum jam session, which means that everybody gets to create their own rhythms and jam together as a group. And that's where a lot of the metaphors take place, the workplace metaphors, where we learn about drumming together, and then we create those connections with the objectives that the organization has for this specific event. And then we kind of use those small windows of communication to help people make those connections from the drum circle into the workplace.
And Alisha, we actually have a clip that I believe is pre-pandemic, and it's a corporate setting. Can you share with us what it is we'll be looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. This was a little over a year ago. We worked with the PGA Tour. I'm located in Northeast Florida, and they have a hub there. So we worked with some different marketing departments with the PGA Tour, and this was like a 2-day team building training that all of these people were going through. And so we came in on one of the days and just kind of did a midday session with these two groups of people at a brewery. So you might see like a weird background with like all these like brewery tanks in the background. But this was during the middle of the jam session, this clip that you'll see, and I invited people into the circle to lead the group by using their feet, basically conducting the music with their feet. And so this gentleman, everybody was kind of rooting for him to go into the middle, and he got really into it. So you guys can take a look and see what he did there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Let's bring up the clip, please. He brought up the energy of the group. He had them going
in a steady rhythm for a while there. And then he just decided, hey, let's get it faster and faster and faster and faster, and let's just turn it into a drum roll. So at that point, as a facilitator, you have to figure out, do we let people keep drumming as fast as they can? Do we stop the rhythm? Do we try to modify that rhythm into something slower that we can kind of transform together as a group? And when the volume and the activity level and the energy level are up here, as a facilitator, you kind of say, all right, let's bring it to a close. Let's end on a high note, and then let's see if we can change the activity up and bring our energy level back down. And also maybe talk about what happened in the circle there. And so that's kind of what we did after we ended the rhythm. We talked a little bit about what he did really awesomely, how he led everybody, and then what we were going to change the rhythm to after that.
And what did the group share with you in terms of the emotions that they were feeling during this event and then afterwards?
There was some skepticism at first. Like I mentioned, a lot of people are kind of thinking, what's this activity, and shouldn't kids be doing this? Why are adults drumming? But this group got really into it. The client originally told me they were bringing together two groups of people that was sort of the old guard, and then the newbies coming in of a millennial generation. And so you'll see a mix of ages in that group, and that's what that was. They wanted to bring all of those people together. And so there was obviously excitement. There was a lot of joking around with people. Like I said, the guy that went into the circle there, I think, was maybe one of the funny guys that people thought it would be fun to watch him lead the group. And so they were chanting his name as he went into the circle. There was a lot of discussion about how relaxed people felt. They felt, the tension go away. They felt kind of like a release. There was an opportunity for them to work on some stress reduction and stress management at the end. So they got a technique that they could walk away with and they could use later on in their personal or professional lives, which I'll be happy to share that technique later on in our interview if your viewers want to learn more about managing their stress as well.
Absolutely. As we know, there's a ton of stress, and all of us are feeling it one way or another. So I just wanted to share that in my first career, I sold meetings and events, and we were involved a lot with people who were putting together team building programs. And this is something like I've never seen before. And so I really have to congratulate you, because I think one of the takeaways for me, having watched that a couple of times, is that you have this activity, you have this platform that transcends generations. And so it actually brings people together that, otherwise might not want to work together, right? I'm from this generation, you're from that generation. So congratulations on that. That's pretty neat.
Thank you. That's absolutely true. A lot of people that maybe have not had the opportunity to work together or even be in the same room together get that chance to connect over rhythm and create a relationship that's going to last, hopefully outside of that drum circle.
Absolutely, and create a shared experience that they'll remember forever, and you're the one who brought that to them, so that's really
right.
Terrific. So we're going to take a break to hear from our sponsors, and when we come back, we want to talk with you about how the pandemic has impacted your business, and also how as you had already alluded to, how this Just Add Rhythm, your platform, and the drumming sessions can help alleviate stress and other toxins that people need to get rid of. So stay with us, we will be back.
Why buy local? When you shop with local businesses, you're spending your money on more than just the item you're buying. You're adding a building block to your neighborhood. It starts with a single purchase, maybe a cup of coffee, groceries from a local co-op, or even a shiny new bicycle from one of the nearly 28 million small businesses nationwide. Your money doesn't stay in the till for long though. Local business owners use the money to create a lot of economic activity in your neighborhood, like buying from suppliers, many of whom are also local businesses. Paying taxes to the city, which builds and maintains the infrastructure we all rely on. Employing local workers, contributing to 65% of the net new jobs each year. Add this all together and you've got a recipe for a happier, healthier, more connected neighborhood. Now that's an investment worth making.
welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn here on RVNtv. I'm your host, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and we have a fascinating guest with us today. Her name is Alisha Ramcharitar, and she is the founder of Just Add Rhythm. She is also a chief drumming architect. So before we went to the break, we were talking about how the pandemic has caused stress, and we've had to change and pivot. And you, of course, have had to pivot how you're operating your business today. I know we have a clip that we're going to take a look at. So if you would just weigh in after we see this clip about how you've been able to transform your business. Let's take a look.
Sure, absolutely.
Mindfulness exercise, because it takes us right to that picture in that moment. So what I'm going to invite for you to do, Carol, is choose a picture, play something, and then you're going to tell us, or I'm going to guess, and then you'll tell us if I guessed correctly which picture it was. So go ahead whenever you are ready.
Okay.
Wow, that was really unique. So we were looking at a black and white visual, and then you with another individual, and you were giving some exercises, it looked like. Can you talk more about what was going on in that clip?
This is a clip from a program that I developed right at the beginning of the pandemic called Best Beats. And it was a series of 4 pre-recorded virtual interactive sessions that schools and after-school programs and summer camps could choose to utilize in their programming, since outside vendors weren't allowed into the facilities, or because everybody was being homeschooled currently. So we sent this to several different summer camps over the summer. We did a sort of a combination of live virtual programs and then these pre-recorded programs as well. So on each one of these 4 Best Beats programs, I had a special guest, which was basically another drum circle facilitator from somewhere else in the country, or we even had one from Chile participate with us as well. And just us doing the program together and introducing different concepts to kids. So the Best Beats program was developed for mostly K through 5th. And we focused on a different concept each time. So the clip that we just watched was from the session on mindfulness, and we wanted to give kids an opportunity to learn what mindfulness was, kind of learn about tuning into their bodies, how to take a moment to themselves to relax, to reduce any stress or anxiety they may be feeling, because this was mostly at the beginning of the pandemic when nobody really knew what was going on. Everybody was just told to stay home. So we gave them some fun activities to do in the safety of their homes or from the camps if they were participating at their camps. And this black and white one was supposed to, it was just introducing the idea of taking a pattern that they saw online, which we just Googled black and white patterns and looked at a bunch of them, and then letting them use their creativity to create what sounds they thought might represent that pattern on their drum. In most cases, the kids at home didn't have drums, because usually we bring them to the facilities, and so we introduced the idea of found sounds, which was just giving them introductions to what they could find around the house to use as a drum or a percussion instrument. So things like boxes of rice or pasta, even just the desk or the table in front of them, using their laps, using body percussion like clapping and snapping, pots and pans, art supplies like pens and pencils and markers and things like that. So they were able to participate along with us for this session remotely.
And what kind of feedback did you get?
We did a short survey at the end of the summer, because we usually do a lot of business during summer camps and library programs, and we got good feedback from people saying they really enjoyed it, the kids enjoyed it, the staff that were present during those sessions stayed engaged with the kids as well. They were able to reduce the stress that they may have had. I think it was really fun for the staff too, because the staff was either participating remotely via their own homes, or in some cases they were at the camp facility with the students, and they were wearing masks and they were wearing gloves. In some cases, they had those plexiglass dividers set up between themselves and the kids. Just a really weird situation for everybody to be in. One of the camps that did the Best Beats program, they worked with kids with disabilities. So there were children of all ages, some that were in wheelchairs, some that were verbal, some that were not verbal. And I just can't imagine the stress that a lot of these essential workers had to be going through to be dealing with this, particularly at the beginning of the pandemic when things were just really up in the air and our health and safety was a number one priority and nobody knew how to really protect themselves yet. So the feedback was really positive that this was a fun way to keep the kids engaged from their homes or from the camps and keep the staff interested as well.
It's really a unique concept. I'm loving it. And I believe that you have a drum with you there, and maybe you can show us a couple of exercises.
Yeah, I have my drum here. This is a frame drum. A skinny little frame drum comes from the Middle Eastern traditions, although there's frame drums all over the world. And I have a vlog post on our YouTube channel where I often give people some introductions to how to manage their stress using rhythm, even if they don't necessarily have a drum. So there's a mantra that I learned a couple years ago from somebody else in a training program that I took. And it was, I am enough, I have enough. And I have to remind myself of that during times when I get really overwhelmed, particularly during the pandemic and especially during the holiday season, because there's that heightened stress on top of all this other stuff that we've got going on. So that's something you can repeat to yourself, and you can clap along, you can tap your toes, you can tap on your lap, or just close your eyes and sit and listen. And it's just repeating it over and over again until you believe it. It's just, I am enough, I have enough. I am enough, I have enough. And just kind of swaying back and forth to the rhythm. And just letting yourself relax into that beat, into that message. I am enough, I have enough. So a lot of the rhythm exercises that I introduce in our sessions, both virtually and in person, include this concept called a rhythm seed, which is basically just taking a word or a phrase and repeating it over and over again until you can turn it into a rhythm or a groove that you can move along to and that you can kind of transform into other rhythms. I learned that concept of the rhythm seed from another facilitator named Jim Donovan many years ago. He used to play percussion and drums in a band called Rusted Root in the 90s that was really popular. And so he developed this rhythm seed concept that I love using because I think it helps people who are not drummers learn how to keep a beat and feel confident doing it. So that I am enough, I have enough is a really great reminder that even if you feel like you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough as a parent or a employee or a business owner or a sibling or a son or a daughter, that you're doing the best you can with the tools that you have. And the tools that you have are enough right now. They may not feel like it, but it's enough for you right now, and you're going to be able to do what you can with what you have. So I think that's a really good reminder for everybody right now during this pandemic and during the holidays. There was one other technique that I wanted to introduce before we go. This is something I also learned from Jim Donovan, and this is called the stopwatch technique. It's a rhythmic breathing exercise that helps slow down your heart rate, and it's a good way to manage your stress and anxiety that you may be feeling.
I can't
for
wait.
whatever's going on in your life. So it's a good exercise to try to do before bed because it often calms us down and clears out the clutter of our minds enough to help us feel like we're ready to drift off to sleep. In some cases, people find that it energizes them, so it might be a good thing to do when you wake up in the morning. So Jacalyn, I'll invite you to do it with me if you like. All you have to do is just start tapping on your lap. So I'll just move my camera down here and just show you guys. You guys can see that this is not, I'm not drumming in a forest. That's my virtual background. You're just gonna start tapping on your lap to the speed of a stopwatch or a ticking clock. So just like tick, 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 tick. That's the speed. You don't have to even hit your lap that hard, just lightly tap it. If you want to think of that 60 Minutes show, that's kind of the speed that we're tapping to. And just start to become aware of your breathing. Now, if you're doing this at home along with us, I invite you to close your eyes if you like, because that kind of deepens the experience, the relaxing experience. So we're going to start focusing more on our breath, and we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. When we breathe in and out, we're going to breathe in for a count of 4. And we're going to breathe out for a count of 4, along with the speed of this stopwatch here. So let's try together. We're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 3, 4, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out. Let's see if we can deepen that breathing. And now we're going to breathe in for a count of 6 and out for a count of 6. So as you breathe in, your diaphragm should actually be expanding outwards like a balloon. And as you breathe out, you're going to push your belly button towards your spine and get rid of all that air. So here we go. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 5, 6, and out. 5, 6, and in. 5, 6, and out. 5, 6, last time. 5, 6, and out. 5, 6. Slowly, we're going to bring our hands to a stop on our laps. And I invite you to just sit there and listen to your body and see if you can sit in silence and notice how you feel.
That is really a great exercise. Thank you for sharing that with us. We have run out of time. I can't believe it. There's still so much more to discuss, but how can people find out more information, Alisha?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I invite you to join our monthly email, which is we send a lot of information about how to use rhythm for your own stress reduction and management, for the health and wellness of yourself, your family, and the people that you live and work with. You can text the word DRUM, D-R-U-M, to 33777. You can text DRUM, D-R-U-M, to 33777, and we will send you 6 tips to rhythmify your life, and you'll join our email list. We only email you once a month, and we do respect your privacy, so we never share your information. You can also visit our website at www.addrhythm.com, ADDRHYTHM.com. And if you go to YouTube and you just type "Just Add Rhythm" into the search bar, you'll find our YouTube channel, which includes lots of wonderful clips on how you can use rhythm for your personal wellness and the enjoyment of yourself and others.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing this unique approach that all of us can use. I love the fact that you brought in ideas of how we can facilitate this even in our own homes. And I'm sure when people reach out to you and they get some additional tips, it's just a great way to stay positive. I feel really great after doing the exercises, so thank you. So that is our show today on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. Our guest has been Alisha Ramcharitar, and she is the founder of Just Add Rhythm. Please reach out to her. She's doing some really terrific work. Obviously, it doesn't matter what age group you are. This is something, drum facilitation, drumming at home. It's great for stress. It's also great for bringing people together for a shared experience. That's all we have for today. Stay safe. We look forward to seeing you again next time here on RVNtv on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. Bye.